don't we also have Chayes Raz in the way we say it?
Say it again.
When we say our
Tefillah Sadeh.
there's another lesson we have, Chayes Raz, something to that effect.
Chayes Raz HaMisrakshos Ba'olam.
Yeah.
Right.
וסגיין לכל קבצין החיים סילוך לשלום, וזחזיננו לשלום, when you're coming back. Also it says here, כי מלאכו יצא ולא...
That's afterwards, those are psukim. That's psukim.
ויעקב הלך לדרכו.
That's psukim. But this is the bracha, that's the psukim.
Right.
Okay. But basically, Abaya says you shouldn't say the tefillah b'lashon yachid, b'lashon rabim. When you include yourself in the rabim, your tefillah is more likely to be heard. Hechi nema. So what should we say? And each word is made plural. Now, when should you say the tefillah saderach? Do you do it before you start moving, or you notice like we usually there's a minig, not a minig, it's halacha. We do it as the plane starts moving, then you do it. You don't do it while it's stopped. You do it while it starts moving, and it's from this Gemara here. You have to start going. And ad kama. Now, you should do it before you reach a certain point. Ad parsa. Means you should say it before you get to a parsa. If you went already about parsa, you missed out.
How much is the parsa?
Parsa is 3 mil.
It moves what, 3 mil?
Now, the Bahag learns different this Gemara. That when it says ad kama, it means how far you have to travel to say the tefillah saderach, right? Ad kama yivakesh lelech sheyitzarach lispal ad parsa. Means if you're going less than a parsa, there's no reason for tefillah saderach. Afilu ein lo lelech ela ad parsa. Avol derech pachos be parsa yitzarach lispal tefillah zu. So machlokas how to learn that. Now, by the way, there's as you know, there's major machlokas poskim. The Svardish, like Rav Avadia Yosef, says that when you go from city to city, you should say Tefillah Saderach. Like in Israel, when they go from Yerushalayim to Tel Aviv, the Sephardim say Tefillah Saderach because of that psak. We usually do it only on something. If you were something that you would have to say the Birchas Hagomel, like when you travel.
If there's no residences, if there's no homes, that's when you.
That's my question, right? That's my question. When I go to San Diego, like, do I
well,
say
the Sephardim, we don't.
We don't. But they houses, because they houses over there. But let them going somewhere as far as San Diego, but there are no houses. Then in theory, I should say it.
Certainly, according to the Sephardim, they would certainly say it. Hechi matzli law.
The desert, when you go to
Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda Amar Mu'umad. Rav Chizda said you have to say it standing up. But Rav Sheshes Amar Fila Mahalech, no, you could do it sitting or walking, like we do it sitting. We can sit. Rav Chizda, Rav Sheshes Avka Azli Ba'orcha, they were traveling together. Kam Rav Chizda v'kamatzli. Now Rav Chizda stood up and started davening. Normally Rav Sheshes was blind. So he told Lishamai, to his helper, my Kovid Rav, what is Rav Chizda doing now? Amar le koyu matzli, he's davening. Amar le ukman, stand me up nami, lididi va'atzli. But not because he held that you had to do it standing. It means I want to be in company with him. Since he's standing, I was standing, and it's a good thing to stand. So I might as well not have, do something good, but not necessarily that you have to do it standing. Okay. Now, we discussed the bracha of Havinenu, that it's sort of a shortened Shmona Esrei, that in certain situations you could say shortened Shmona Esrei. And then now we just talked about this tefillah ktsara, that you ratzu v'necha shetit l'chol echad kedei parnasoso, if you were, by listing or by wild animals. So what's the difference between my ikka bein avinenu l'tefillah ktsara? So avinenu boil etzli gimel kamaisa v'galam basraisa. It means you have to say the 3 brachos, right? Avois and mechayim meisi melkel hakodesh. You have to do the brachos afterwards. Havinenu takes the place of the brachos inside, the 12 brachos inside, or the 13 brachos inside. Now, the chimati lebeise, when a person finally gets to his home, lo boy lebahadir l'tzli b'tefillah lo boy lemeinu l'tzli. You don't have to repeat and say full Shmona Esrei again. You said Shmona Esrei. Havinenu takes the place of that. However, by tefillah ktsara, Lo boilet slui, lo gimel kamaisav, lo gimel basraisa. You don't have to start off with the 3 brachos before and the 3 brachos after. And in fact, when you get home, you have to say the full Shemona Esrei. The final halacha, Avinenu mu'umid. Now, Avinenu you have to do standing up, it's like Shemona Esrei. But Tefillah K'tzar, bein mu'umid, bein ma'alech. Tefillah K'tzar can be said whether sitting or standing.
So it sounds like Tefillah K'tzar is you're doing it in case, I'm assuming, in case you are not sure whether you can daven later on or not.
And you're in a, you're,
And if you do, you can.
you're,
You should do.
and you're in, remember you said you're in a Malkam Sakana.
Right.
It doesn't take play the role of tefillah. It's a special tefillah for that period of
You
time.
say Tashlumim then afterwards in the next tefillah?
If you missed, if you didn't,
No, if you said the Tefillah Ksora.
no, you'd have to say Tashlomim. The tefillah K'tzor does not take the place of Shemona Esrei. Havinenu, you would not have to say Tashlomim. You were the fact that now when you get home you don't have to repeat the Shemona Esrei because you did Shemona Esrei and you would not have to do Tashlomim. Hayeroichev ala chamor. We said you have to get off the chamor, or can you
Is what is better, Tashlumim or Avinenu?
Let me ask you a question. In my whole life, I don't think I've said Tfilas Avinenu.
Neither have I.
That's what I'm saying. So, it's not that you can't do it, but we somehow always figure out a way to daven,
sure, yeah.
to do regular
Or
daven.
you forget, and then you say Tashlumim, and say.
Ton Rabbanan. So you're riding on a chamor and it's man tefillah. If you have somebody who can hold on to the donkey, it's better to come off the donkey so you can concentrate v'yispala. V'im lav, you have nobody to hold the donkey, you can sit on the donkey and daven. Rabbi Yomer ben kach u'ben-kach yeshe b'mkom v'yispala. Even if you had somebody to hold on to your donkey, better to sit. He's nervous. Climbs off the chamor, it's going to move, it's going to bray, the guy's going to run loose. You're still not going to have a yishuv adas to daven properly. That you should always just sit and daven. Of course, we've always heard Rabbi Krauss paskin for many years. I mean, I'm old enough to live in that generation where people were makpid that if you were on a plane, that you should daven and people would gather by the bathrooms and make minyanim. That's all out now. Rabbi Krauss, I remember once came back 25 years ago, I think he heard a psak from an Odom Gadol near Israel, and he told us certainly to just sit in our chair, that the disruption that you cause to non-Jews and etc., it's a chilul Hashem, etc., he always told us to just daven in your seat. And it certainly fulfills Rebbe, that Rebbe says you're allowed to daven if you're traveling, sitting, you have a proper yishuv adas. Tarabon. Suma, blind person. Umi she'eno yochel lechavnes aruchos. Or a guy, some people are not, they don't know directions very well. They get confused, what's east, what's west. So either a person doesn't see, so he doesn't know which way is east or west. Or a person's not very good about directions. So Yichavin libo keneged aviv shebashamayim, because we're gonna. This is the parsha of the sugi where we're gonna say you should always face Yerushalayim, and if you're in Yerushalayim, you should face where the base of Mikdash is. But if you're a person that doesn't know where it is, you're blind, you can't see, you don't really know east west, you don't know all of that. So the kavanah in your heart should be to Hashem. Shenemar bispalul Hashem. Haya oimed b'chutz la'aretz. Person's anywhere in Chutz La'aretz, Yichavin Slibo Keneged Eretz Yisrael. The kavanah should be towards Eretz Yisrael. Shenemar, V'Yispalalu Eilecha Derech Artza. It's a pasuk that through their land they will reach you. Hayoim Eretz Yisrael. Let's say it's in Tel Aviv. Yichavin Slibo Keneged Yerushalayim. You have to face Yerushalayim. Shenemar, V'Yispalalu Hashem Derech Ha'ir Asher Bocharta. It's another pasuk. You should point towards Beis Hamikdash. You're in the Beis Hamikdash. Your kavana and your face should be Kodesh Kodoshim. What if you're in the Kodesh Kodoshim? Right? The kaporas was on top of the Aron, where the kruvim were. So that's somehow where the Shekhinah is. I mean, Achri basic kaporos, if you're behind there, Yira atzmo ke'iluf kaporos. He has to see himself as if he's in front of the kaporos. Therefore, Nimtza oimed b'mizrach, if he's standing in the east, Master Ponav l'mayrav. If he's standing b'mayrav, which is behind the Kodesh Kodeshim, Master Ponav l'mizrach. B'dora, Master Ponav l'tzafon, and b'tzaf, Master Ponav l'dora. Nimtza koyso mechadim tzlibu, malkom echad. Everybody's sort of focused to the same nakuda, to the same place, which is right above the kaporos. Aravavi b'tem ravina ma'ikra. There's a pasuk that sort of implies this. This is in Shir Hashirim. Ki migdal David savarech, like the Tower of David is your neck. Banui letalpiois. Tail, which we darshan tail shekol piois poinimbo. The mound, the hill that all mouths are facing. And by the way, the tzavar, right? It says tzavarech, and that so the tzav. Well, we have a remez there. Remember when Yosef and Binyamin meet, so each one cried on each other's neck. What does Rashi say there? It says, "But Binyamin bachal tzavarav," plural, right? And it says Binyamin cried because the Mishkan Shiloh that was going to be in the Shetach of Yosef, which was destroyed, and Yosef cried on the necks of Binyamin because the two Batei Migdash that were going to be in the Chelik of Binyamin, because it was mainly in Binyamin. There was a Ritzua that went out of Shevet Yehuda that the Mizbech had to have that. We're going to see that in Masechta Tamid when we drew a picture. We saw how that was. So the shaila is, why is the tzavar, our neck, a remez to the Beis Hamikdash? So I think I heard Rabbi Krauss say once that the neck connects our brain and our heart. Our heart always references our actions, but our head has to control our actions. Otherwise, we're vildachaya. So, for example, Esav's head has the schus of being buried in the Rasa Machpelah. Remember, Chushim ben Dan cut off his head and rolled in because he had a good head. He just didn't connect the two. He didn't use his head so that he didn't do Averis. Well, what connects the head and the heart? The neck. And so you went to Beis Hamikdash, and it inspired you. That was the place that fused sort of the goof and the neshama, the action and physicality and spirituality. So that's why the tzavar is a remez for the Beis Hamikdash. Avud Shmuel, right, the father of Shmuel, the Levi, ki avu boy lemefik le'orcha, when they were going on a road, have makadmi umatzli. They would wake up early to daven. So they could stand and say Shemona Esrei quietly, but they hadn't read Kriyas Shema. It wasn't the time of Kriyas Shema yet. So they obviously held that, right, normally we want to say Kriyas Shema first. Why? Because we want to be Soymech Geula L'Tfilah. Because we have the Berochos after Baruch Hashem Goal Yisrael. We want to do so. So what's more important? So they felt it was more important to daven, be Yishuv Adas, standing and quietly and everything, than doing the Smichas Geula L'Tfilah. And then later on they read Kriyas Shema Bismana. Kiman ki haitan, like the following the Tanya. Hishkim lotzis laderech. Person is a traveling salesman. He's waking up very early. So if it's Rosh Hashanah, I don't know where he's traveling Rosh Hashanah, but if he's on the road, let's say he's going to Mevi'in lo shoifar v'tokea, he blows right away. Or if it's first day Sukkos lulav v'mananeya, or Megillah v'koreba, and then she gives man Kriyas Shema korei. Hishkim leishe v'korno b'sfina. Person's going to go on a boat trip or a caravan. Again, mispalel. He should first daven because he can do it standing, quiet, etc. And then she gives my Kriyas Shema korei. But Rav Shimon also no. Ben kachu ben kach korei Kriyas Shema mispalel. We don't do it like this. We read Kriyas Shema and then mispalel. Why? Kedei sheyismach geula l'tfilah. But my kameflagi, what really are they arguing in? Marsav tefillah mu'umid adiv. Better that you have, because right, you're going to be on the road, you're going to be in a boat, you're not going to be able to stand up. So better to break the order of smichas geula l'tfilah and daven standing, and then later on say the Kriyas Shema. Umarsav masamech mismach geula l'tfilah adiv. It's better to stay the order where we read Kriyas Shema and then Shemona Esrei. Meremar Mars, I just want to see the Yud. This is Lamed, Yud. Shulchan Aruch says, "B'shas adcha kegon shetzorich lashkim laderech, yachol ispal mishalo amar hashacher, and then v'yamtim likros kriya shema she'yigeh zmana." Says the Ramah, "Im efshar lo likros kriya shema laderech, da'ainu she'iskaven b'posuk rishon." So you can see, we paskin like that's why the test is there. Excuse me, that's why the yud is there by tefillah mu'umid adif, because the Shulchan Aruch paskins that better to wake up early, daven shema, daven shmona esrei mu'umid, and only then later on read kriya shema, because later on you're not going to be able to stand up and do shmona esrei. Meremar umar zitra have a mekanfi be'asar b'shabta deragla. Now, they had to give a big drosha on Shabbos Chol Moed, Shabbos of Yontif. So they would gather a minyan in their home and daven there first, umatzli, and then the hodar nafker lepirka. They wouldn't daven with the tzibur. Rashi says, "Shlifnei Pesach latzeres v'sukkos, u'meremer be'iru marzutra be'iru hayu adarshonim, v'shachrus hayam holchu leveis hamedrash, u'shmigez man kriya shema koirin, v'adarshan doirish, v'am nishmatim mispalim, ish levado. Ulakach hem hayu mispalim yud shachrus koirim she'elchu leveis hamedrash, v'korin kriya shema, u'mispalim smichas kulon tefillah. V'hodar nafki lepirka v'darshan, because later there, everyone was going to daven shmona esrei sort of b'yechidus. So here they wanted to do it with smicha gulul tefillah with yud. Rav Ashi matzli b'hadi tzibur b'yochid miyushuv. Rav Ashi would stay in the yeshiva with everyone davening, but he would daven b'yechidus as the tzibur was davening. And then kieva osel beisei, and when he got his home, hodar matzli mu'umid. Then he repeated it in daven mu'umid. Why didn't you do like Marema Marzutra, where you gathered a minyan prior? It's very hard. The more beloved where they davened early. Rav Ashi said that he did not see the elders of his generation do that. So it must be that the halacha was not accepted, Lamaisa, to do it that way. She'agdimu tefillah likriya shema. Hilkach tivin the mamtin mit tefillah zman kriya shema mitzvah lisboch tefillah chagul fichel mispal miyushav imkomo. That's why he davened sitting where he was. Since he really didn't have proper kavanah, then he did it. He repeated it later. Mishnah. Well, Elizabeth Azai Oimer, ein tefillas amusafin ela b'chover ear. A yachid does not daven tefillas musaf. If there's a chover ear, that means there's a big crowd, there's a tzibur, then you daven musaf. However, chachamim are b'chover ear, v'shlo b'chover ear. Chachamim says no, daven musaf whether you're with the tzibur, whether you're not with the tzibur. If you don't remember mishmo kol makom sheyesham chover ear, if there's a tzibur there, yachid parta mit tefillas musaf. Now, l'chora, what's the difference between Rabbi Yehuda and the Tanna Kama? It sounds like they're saying the same thing, right? Rabbi Yehuda and the Tanna Kama. No, it could be nayu yachid shelo b'chavir. No, machlokes between the two would be a yachid who's not present with the chavir. Tanna Kamar says sover potter. Right, the sover chayiv, that you would still be chayiv as an individual to say the musaf. On Ravuna bar Chinan, on Rav Chia bar Rav halacha Rabbi Yehuda shomer mishur malaz ben Azai. On Rav Chia bar Ravin shaper kamrit. The Omer Shmuel miyamed lamatzin letzlus the musaf b'yachid. I never said it feels musaf by myself. Except it was one day. The also Plamusa de Malka Lamasa, the army of the king came to the city. Vatrid Rabban, the Chacham were so busy, V'lot Solu, they weren't able to daven. V'tzali b'yachid, and I davened Musaf b'yachid. V'aviyachid shelo b'chaver ear. And that was an example of a yachid shelo b'chaver ear, I was still davening. Our halacha is, we daven Musaf, whether we're b'tzibur, whether we're b'yachid. That's our halacha. Yosef Rav Chanina Krol Kamed Rav Yanai. Rav Chanina placed the following pasuk from Rav Yanai. Yosef Kamar Halacha Rav Yehuda Shomer Shem Lavzar regarding this issue regarding Musaf. Amalei puk kra karakol. No, go tell your son the ain't Rabbi Yehuda. Shalom Shalom Lezben Zayah. That Rav Yochanan Nira Isias Rabbi Yanai did Sali v'Hadir Sali. I saw him daven and daven again. L'chora he said two tefillas, they're thinking that he daven shachos and then daven musaf. Armalei Rav Yirmiyah Rav Zera. No, there's no right from there because Dilma Mikar Lo Chiven Daite Lusof Chiven Daite. Maybe he's repeating the same tefillah. It's just he realized that the first tefillah he didn't daven the kavana, and the second one he davened the kavana. So there's no riot to what you're saying. Armalei Chaziman Gava Rabba the Kabasarele. Look, what a great person Rabbi Yochanan who is being made that he said two tefillahs, and the reason why he said it is to tell us that he davened shachos and then musaf. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given testimony. Ravami Vravasi, Avagav Dahavalut Placer Beknishta B'Tveria. Ravami Vravasi lived in Tveria. There were 13 shuls there. Lav Matzli, they didn't daven Elabeni Amud Yechid Havigarsi. They didn't daven only between the pillars in the place where they learned. So there's an inyan of davening where you learn. Itmar Rav Yitzchak Bar Dim Mishum Rabbeinu. Omar Halachak Rav Yudah Sham Mishum Elazar ben Azariah. That you can say Shachos and Muslim. And Rav Chia Baravet Sali v'Hadrat Sali. He also said two tefillas. Amar Zera Mai Taba Ovid Marachi. So is it because he lay Mishum Delobach Kavin Mar Daite that you repeated your Shemona because you were in Kavan, you didn't do Kavan the first time? That can't be about a Talmud Chacham. Person has to check himself before davening. Is he in the right proper mood to be machavin? If he is, he should daven. So what do you mean? He davened two tefillahs because the first tefillah he was machavin. He wasn't machavin. We shouldn't have started davening at all.
Yeah, but we don't paskin that way.
Well, we paskin the first paragraph of Shmona Esrei of Avois. You need kavanah. And we don't go back. We don't necessarily go back, but we do paskin that you have to have kavanah in the first part of Shmona Esrei. Like the first part of Shmona Esrei, like the first part of Shema.
Right.
Yeah. So Ela deloy adker mar duresh yarcha. Because he didn't recognize that it was Rosh Chodesh. You have to repeat it because he missed Rosh Chodesh. Freit the Gemara v'Tanya tov lo yizkir shel Rosh Chodesh ba'arvis ein machzir soy. So if a person forgot Yalav Yovim b'Mayriv, you don't make him return it. Midnei sheyachol oimer b'shachris. Now really we're going to give a different reason. Remember we said the real reason is because Bezdin is not Makadosh Chodesh at night. But right now the Gemara is saying, you know why you don't have to repeat it in Mayriv? Because you're going to say it in Shachris. And if you missed it b'shachris, ein machzir soy b'nei sheyachol oimer b'musafim. Right? There's going to be Musaf Rosh Chodesh. And if you miss it musafim, ein machzir soy b'nei sheyachol oimer b'mincha. Omer le lavit merlon Rav Yochanan that tzibur shiny, that all of the ein machzir mishum d'shamal mishliach tzibur. The whole thing that you don't have to go back is because there's a shots. But b'yachid you would have to go back. But Rashi brings the bahag. The b'shliach tzibur mishum tircha d'tzibur aval yachid hadar. We don't make the shliach tzibur go back because of tircha d'tzibur. But if it's a yachid, you'd have to go back. Kama yisha ben tefillah letefillah. Let's say a person forgot Yalav Yavim, or forgot something, he has to go back. Or he has to daven Musaf. He's now daven, he daven Shachris, and now he wants to daven Musaf. How much should you wait between these tefillos? Kama yisha ben tefillah tefillah. Avuna v'chizda chadamar, kedei shetischoinen daito Allah. Yeah, he has to get himself ready to say Shmona Esrei. He has to relax himself, he has to have kavanah. Now what's the pshat? Mandar mekadesha tischon daito, because he learns it from Dichsi ve'eschanan el Hashem. Right? When Moshe Rabbeinu does tefillas, there's a lashon of chinunim. Mandar mekadesha tischon daito, all of this vayichal Moshe. Both are lashonos of tefillah. Rav Tov lo hizker shalosh chodesh arvis. If you forgot to say Yalav Yom Ma'ariv, ein machzir noso. Not because, like we said before, because you're going to say it again in Shachos. Lefi shein bezin mekachin sachodesh ela bayom. Bezin only operates in the daytime. There's no bezin at night. One of the functions of bezin is kiddush hachodesh. Since it wasn't done at night, if you forget Yalav Yom at night, you don't have to repeat it. Amar Ameir Mistav Milsa Derav b'chodesh mole, aval b'chodesh choser machzir naso. They wanted to. Initially, there was this havamina that if it was, remember, Jewish month, the month is either 29 days. The lunar cycle is 29 and a half days. So half of our months are 29 days. Half of our months are 30 days. That's how you get 354. So there was a thought that if it's only a 29-day month and you miss the Alav Yova, you'd have to repeat it. Rav Taimaka Omer, Mali Choser Mali Mole. Makes no difference, Choser Mali, Ela Lo Yishna. And therefore, that's why I brought the Halacha Psuka when I read it before. Makes no difference whether it's a 1 day Rosh Chodesh, 2 days Rosh Chodesh. If you miss Yalav Yova, in my Riv, you don't have to repeat. Hadalach Tfilas HaShachar, Hadalach Tfilas HaShachar, Hadalach Tfilas HaShachar. In Oinin Lispalel, Ela Mitoch Kovid, new Perek Chamishi. In Oinin Lispalel Mitoch Kovid Rosh. You have to be in hachna. You have to be in a subservient manner. You have to be serious. And the Chasidim Arishonim, Hayushoin Shachas, Umispalin, Kadesh Yichadu Libam Lavim. They would spend an hour prior to Shmona Esrei in order to properly Machabed. And in that period of time, I feel Melech Shol B'Shlomo Yor Yeshivenu. So, for example, within Shemona Esrei, somebody says Shalom Aleichem to even the king, you can't return. A snake is curling up in his lap or on his heel, you shouldn't be mafsik.
Unless it's poison.
Sakana, we're not. It's a sakana tefashas, of course, we're not talking. Ron Emili, where do you see this? This kovid roish amar lazar damar kra. The he moras nafesh. This is referring to Chana, right? Chana, it says she was a bitter soul. So we have to be bitter. Mi my deal, but Chana shiny. Havas merely betuva. So maybe it's there. She was really depressed, really bitter. That's why I called her moras. But who says we have to be that? We will come to your house. With fear. So this must be the pasuk. This is David HaMelech. Now, Mimai Dilma David shiny. David Mitzar Nafshe Barach Metuva. David HaMelech was being chased by Shaul, being chased by Avshalom. He was chased his whole life. Maybe he had special Barach Metuva needed, but we don't. Amishu ben Levi Mehocha. Hishtachvu Hashem behadras kodesh. Al tikra behadras ela becharedos, like charedi. Meaning you are chored, that means you are connected strongly. Now, who says this is the right deal? Hadaras mamash means to dress up nicely. He would take care of himself and dress himself nice. This is where people, make sure that they're dressed, the hat, the coat, a tie, the way we dressed in yeshiva from this Gemara. So it doesn't mean this is not the raya that we have to be in fear when we daven. Ivdu es Hashem b'yira, v'gilu b'ra'ada. You have to fear Hashem. You have to serve Hashem. The serving Hashem is with tefillah b'yira. Now, my v'gilu b'ra'ada. What do you mean? You have to be happy in fright, because ra'ada is also being afraid. B'makom gila sham tehei ra'ada. You can't be a lighter guy. You can't be happy all the time. Where sometimes you're happy, you also have to be afraid. Abai have Yosef kamei de Rabba. Abai was sitting in front of Rabba. Chazid David called bodach tuva. He was like making jokes. Omar v'gilu bar'ada ksiv. It says you can't always be happy. You have to sort of mix happiness with fright. Omar lei anot tefillin menachno. V'heim edus. That means the tefillin is a sign that I'm barada. I'm happy, but I'm wearing tefillin. I'm doing both. And Rav Yirmiyah Yosef Kamed Rav Zera, same thing. Chazid David Kabadach Tuva, he was very happy. Armale b'chol eitzev ye mutter. What you're supposed to be sad most of the time. Armale I'm not tefillin menachno. The tefillin is giving me the proper covet. Marbre Ravina avad hilulu lebrei. Marbre Ravina made a party for his son. Chazin Rabbanon David Kabadach Tuva. He was like the batchen. There was like a comedian by the wedding, and more tell us exactly what he did to be like the Batran at the wedding. Okay.